Joshua Germany putting up an almighty defence. Garrett Kaler taking his second win. Stephen King for Pulsar eSports makes it 3 for 3 at Oran Park. Andy Fox wins. Henry Morse makes it the double and takes another win here at Watkins Glen. Blake comes around the final corner and across the line. Jameson Huffman has done it. Championship rival Morgan Burkhardt wins again. And there we have it. Two-time Jetta Cup champion Jake Cranston. Hello guys and girls, welcome back to the Racing Line for another live stream. Monday night live stream is back. It's the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega, of course, in partnership with VCO eSports. Whether you're watching with us here on the Racing Line YouTube and Twitch, or over on VCO eSports YouTube and Twitch, of course, everybody is welcome. And as I said, we are powered by GT Omega, meaning that if you type in that cheeky little discount code TRL, and you can get yourself 5% off on top of their already proven discounts. For example, Black Friday's coming up. Get that code on there, you can get a little bit more money off. Christmas is coming. That's it for the promo, to be honest. But powered by GT Omega. If you haven't got some of their stuff, you should get it. Welcome back, of course, to everyone that's watching across the 4 channels. I can see you all. We've got Christoph Plays, a regular this season. He's been coming back, getting involved on Twitter. Good to see you back. He says, phew, on time, was racing with the crew. Biggie Morello's in chat, said hello already. Christoph Plays, even though he's commenting on YouTube, he has said hello to all the Twitch viewers. And he said, good evening, Mr. Johns. Good evening to the drivers. And good luck to everyone. They're going to need it. Cackle has said good morning on Twitch. Good to see you. Some nice pictures taken already by Mr. Iku. In fact, speaking of pictures, do you know what? I should have got the link ready for this. Let me see if I can find it so I can post it in chat. VCO eSports, whilst we're talking about them and our partners, the Simi Awards, the VCO eSports Simi Awards is coming up. It's where you can vote. The community can vote for their favourite car, their favourite esports driver, their favourite, what else was there? Their favourite sim racing photographer, their favourite commentator. Many awards are given through this VCO eSports Simi Award event, which is coming soon. And the votes are open. The nominations are open now. I think, hang on, I have found the link. I'm going to copy it and paste this so that you can go and vote for whatever you want. You don't have to do it now. Save this link and you can do it later. Bear with me. My Discord is all over the place right now. There's so much going on. Right, here we go. Have this link. VCO Simi Awards tweet right there. If you click on that link, there's about 11 categories and you can vote for whoever you want. For example, some people put for their favourite sim racer Max Verstappen. Don't know who that is. LOL. Only joking. Come on, everyone knows who that is. Anyway, round 7. You may have noticed by the track map, it's Long Beach. For the first time in... Well, it's the last round of the American leg. So we're on the end of our 4-week stint right now. Before we cross the ocean one last time for another triple header after break week. And what a treat we have today. For the first time in Jetta Cup history, we have a street circuit on our hands. Mixed reviews so far from all the drivers, to be honest. But place your bets on how many survivors we are going to have today out of the 31 drivers that we have out there. We've got a short journey for this last one. Let's just get rid of that so that we can see how long we've got left. Short journey. Let's have a look at our little flight path from Laguna Seca. There we go. We get the truck down from Monterey area. I think it's about 269 miles. I think it was around that. I think last time I checked this. Through Los Angeles down to Long Beach. 279. I was close. So nice little truck journey there. I think it's time to go through let's have a little recap of the last 6 races whilst we have a look at the nice scenery of Long Beach. You can see the cars going around. That's the pit lane and the main straight. I've been there. It's a really nice place. Although I'll tell you what is missing from this iRacing laser scan is all the Lime scooters that you can hire, the little electric scooters. Anyway, 12 drivers of the 36 on the grid have sat on the podium this season so far. Patrick Dupart taking his first podium last time out with the P2. Ade Kober got 1. Henry Morse has had 1. Austin Farr's had 2. Timu Toyka has had 2. Joshua Germany has had 2. Arthur Thurtle has had 2. Jameson Huffman has had 3. Stephen King 4 podiums. Bailiff 5. Burkhardt 6, and Cranston 7 podiums in total so far, but 12 different drivers up there. Out of the 6 rounds that we've had previous, 5 drivers have taken pole position. Only Arthur Thurtle has taken 2 pole positions this season. Burkhardt, King, Cranston and Patrick Dupart last time out join him with 1 pole position each. King, surprisingly, with no wins, with both him and Patrick actually coming very close last time out in Seika, both of them finishing P2 in their respective races. 6 drivers have won in total, Cranston taking the highest score so far this season with 122 points out of 123. The max score is 123, Jake Cranston got 122 at round 4 Lime Rock. Henry Morse got one of the fastest laps and robbed him for the chance for the only perfect score that we have ever seen. Ever. Crazy stat that. Let's have a look at the team's championship. It looks like this. Meatball Motorsport at the bottom with 334. Lurchers Gaming in P11 with 414. 581 for Team 12. Zero Forks Giving there in P9. Frogleap Juiced Racing in P8 with 707 points. Team ORD continue their chase of Goldwing in P6. They're in P7 at the moment, chasing down Goldwing, who are in P6. Win It or Bin It are trying to hold on to that top 4 breakaway there in P5 with 916 points, nearly 100 behind Project Dynamic, who sit in 4th place, but with 5 wins as a team. They are the 4th most successful team in Jetta Cup history. An insane stat considering they've only contested 12 races out of the 56 possible races they could have done. Masters of Talk are 3rd, just ahead of Street Casuals, who have been on the rise since round 1. 2nd, if they can claim a win tonight, they go to the 7th best overall team in Jetta Cup history. Pulsus continue to lead the way this season. Let's see in the next 3 minutes if we can rattle through the drivers' standings. It looks a little bit like this. Rod Askew in 36th, Ray Oliver, Corpus, Holmichael and Weiswanger there down in 32nd and 33rd. And Caraday there joint on points with Brandon Hughes with 120. Duncan Murray and Dan Thornton in 28th and 29th. Ika Lequay is 27th, 2 points behind Andy Fox in 26th. Jesus Amundere is in 25th. Jerry Agard, who returns today, is in 24th, just shy of the 200-point mark. Arthur Thurtle, 23rd. 22nd is Stephen Burns. Dan Blake, 21st. Donny Henriksen and Greg Otley enters the top 19. Alexander van der Velde in P18. Kyle Ridley up there in P17. Martin Wallace in 16th place. He will be happy with that. Sam Van Olst has climbed his way to P15. Andre Meyerek and Patrick Dupart continue their rise with these strong finishes in P13 and 14. I don't know who that was that just crashed, but it sounded hard. Ade Kober is still there in P12 at the moment. We'll expect that to drop. Obviously, he's retired from the season. Eric Manenveld in P11, 4 points ahead. Jameson Huffman P10, Henry Morse P9, Daniel Downing in P8. Still, despite having a very up and down season, that man could be at least 3 places higher. He's had some strong pace this season. Joshua Germany with a win to his name, finally. Is there in P7 though, just being passed by Timu Toika last time out, who now jumps up to P6 after he claims his first win of the season. Austin Farr there in P5 for Street Casuals, Stephen King for Pulses Esports in P4, Morgan Burkhardt for Project Dynamic in P3, not far behind John Bailiff in P2, only 8 points behind, and then a big jump up to the last season's and the season before's champion, Jake Cranston. That is it's an insane gap, but Jake Cranston expected to miss 1, maybe 2 rounds, which means John Bailiff and Morgan Burkhardt are in a prime position for fighting, and Stephen King is not far behind. It's a top 3 breakaway if we discount Jake Cranston, but you cannot discount that man because he is always well involved. Let's have a quick look at chat. Ayo, Giga Chad Street Casual's been climbing. Vince Cussy says, love these Jettas. Biggie Morello says, considering Dan Blake's luck, he's doing well to be up there. You are correct, Biggie Morello, although I can't see him here today, so maybe he is still... Oh, no, he is there. He's turned up. 32 cars on the grid now. I was expecting him to still be at the pub. Vince Cussy says, audio issues. Is that... Are we talking about my voice? Are we talking about engine noises? Maybe it was just so... that crash that came through really loud because it happened right in front of the camera. Let's have a quick look at the gaps before it ticks over. We're on 44 minutes out of 45. And Morgan Burkhardt, currently fastest. That is an insane time. Real Ilpo, sorry, missed your comment. I support Fat Timu number 46. That's on Twitch chat. Good to see you. Thank you for getting involved. And thank you for everyone that comments in that Twitch chat. If you are watching, then please say hello. Don't be shy. Say hello across chats. I can see all 4 of you. Racing Line, YouTube and Twitch. VCO eSports, YouTube and Twitch. Jake Cranston is nearly 5 tenths back, as is Patrick Dupart again, who's up there. Bailiff in P4. Henry Morse is in P5. King P6. This is the biggest field spread, perhaps expectedly, that we've seen all season. It's a tough circuit, this. We drove it yesterday. It's very bumpy out there. It's hard to say. The understeer around here is unreal. There's some bumpy sections. There's walls. We've never been to a street circuit. I don't know what to expect. I'm a little bit scared. I'm dreading it. So are some of the drivers. Who knows what is going to happen today? What I do like, though, is I love just looking at how diverse all those flags are. Look at all those nationalities. This is the Jetta World Cup here right now. Now, who's going to get out of the pit lane first? Let's have a look at the pit lane. Oh, this is a nice pit lane camera. Oh, no, it's ruined. It's ruined. It's ruined. Where's it gone? There it is. Look at them all coming out. Look how wide this pit lane is. It's a very main road here. Fixed now, says Vince, but the mic kept cutting out when you were saying drivers' names. That might have been me turning my head, to be honest. Joe Gibson says, let's go ORD. Fingers crossed, lads. It's good to see you, Joe. Thanks for coming in and supporting the boys. Patrick... in fact, all three of them, all three drivers for ORD have been claiming those points. Even Dan Thornton has been having some strong results. He's there with, I think it was around, I'm guessing this now, but it's around 148 points. And without those points, they wouldn't be where they are. So all the drivers doing their bit. But Patrick claiming a P2 was a very big high for them. And pole position last time out in Laguna Seca. So well done to them. Let's have a look at the track map. And who is out on track first? I think it might be Stephen King, who is all the way out there by himself. Dan Blake hasn't left the pits yet. You would assume he hasn't got much track time under his belt when he's turned up so late. But Stephen King, and look who's behind him, Jake Cranston and Austin Farr. That's a bad place to be, especially if Jake is within slipstream. I don't know how close Jake is, to be honest. This is the rear of Stephen King's car. Stephen trying his best to pull away. Where is Joshua Germany in this? He's in the mid-pack somewhere, so he's got cars in front, cars behind. But let's go on board with our front man. Or should we go on board with the current championship leader, actually? He's behind Stephen King. Where is Jake Cranston's name on my screen? There it is. This is Jake Cranston's point of view. Let's get the dashboard up so we can see what gears he's using. What is this man doing around this circuit? Look how tight he gets to the wall. And we've only just started the lap. 180 kilometers an hour. What's the top speed of this diesel bad boy as we go down the main straight? We're in 6th gear. Be careful not to cross this blue line as you brake hard on the brakes down to 4th gear. Get it chucked in and then start accelerating. Scrubbed off a bit of speed there. Gets close to the wall. Chucks it into the left and then around the roundabout in 3rd gear. 60 kilometers an hour. Get as close as you dare to the left-hand side wall. Get back to the left. Oh, he's hit that wall. That'll be a 0x, and this lap probably invalidated. Now, watch this. Does he cut this curve? You can cut this massively. Bounces over it, and you're dreading the wall on the left there, because as you bounce over that curve, you just slowly get dragged towards that wall, and it's some scary stuff. Same here. Through this left, accelerate nice and early. He's hit that inside wall on our screen. I don't know if he's doing that on his. Comes right out to the right. Back over to the left now. This is a weird corner. Again, you want to take a nice wide entry, get as close as you can to the exit wall, and the wall just creeps up on you on exit. It's so narrow here, and the margin for error, even I nearly crashed on my own head then, but the margin for error here is minimal. You really have to be so precise. All the win it or bin it boys, if you look at the track map, are out together, so they want to do the qualifying together through this double left-hander. This is probably the trickiest corner where we will see a potential pile-up, an accident here, down into 2nd gear for the hairpin. We rarely see 2nd in the Volkswagen Jettas, but it does look like he's close on Stephen King a little bit, and now he's going to be towing his way down to the start-finish line and to turn 1 again if that lap was valid. Is it going to go to the timing board on the left-hand side? It does, so it wasn't invalidated when he hit the wall, but Stephen King has invalidated his lap. Dan Downing goes to the top of the times, less than a 10th ahead of Jake Cranston. It feels like the tracks I raced not 10 minutes ago. It's very narrow around here. Let's have a look at some other camera angles around here ready for the race, because I don't know what to expect with the cameras around here. But let's have a look. So Dan Downing, currently the fastest man out there. And there he is in the Goldwing machine. He's following Andre Majorek, who's currently in P7, just a 10th behind his teammate Patrick Dupart. Stephen Burns goes up into 13th. Bailiff jumps up into P11 as the Win It or Bin It boys cross the line. 7 tenths off of Dan Downing's time. as we see the Goldwing driver throw it through that left-hander. He's got Eric Manenveld of Street Casuals behind. And then there's a ZFG back there as well. I can't quite see him come into shot who that is. But no one's set in purple sectors. Eric Manenveld hits the wall. It was Greg Otley. There he was. You just saw the ZFG car come into shot. Dan Blake is being caught by Stephen King and crew. I think he's come into... Oh, no, he hasn't come into the pits. I think that's someone else. Or has he? He's pulled over and he's in the pits. So, what's happening with the times? Huffman goes up into P8 for Frog Leap Juiced Racing. He's only 4 tenths back. He's 4 thousandths off of Andre Majorek. And he's towing around his old buddy in the other team, Project Dynamic, Morgan Burkhardt there. That is... Oh, that's not going to help Morgan. Although, look at that. Dived out the way, did Jameson Huffman there. Was going to hinder Morgan's lap and then immediately moved. And Jake Cranston, as I say, no one set in purple sectors, goes 3 tenths quicker than Dan Downing, following Stephen King. So Stephen King giving his rival there a nice chunk of slipstream and potential pole position. 3 tenths. We're going to see our first double pole sitter since Arthur Thurtle. Sam Van Os goes up to 21st. Holmichael 23rd. Dan Thornton goes up into P16 as we enter the final phase of qualifying. That is a cracking lap from Dan Thornton. He's only, I was about to say, he was only 100th behind John Bailiff, who just slots up into P3 in between Dan Downing and Stephen King. John Bailiff in the Win It or Bin It cars, who still, by the looks of it, supporting the Halloween livery that they had last time out. Didn't have time to scrape it off across the short turnover of races. Morgan Burkhardt is lighting up the timing screens right now. He's set in purple sectors. He's into the hairpin. What can Morgan Burkhardt do here? Bouncing his way down this main straight. This is going to be a good time from the Project Dynamic car, I think, although he's just lost one of his purple sectors. But what's it going to be? It's a purple final sector. Is it valid? It is. It's 2.5 tenths quicker, and Morgan Burkhardt currently sits on pole position. He might get another lap in. What lap are they doing? 1:33. It's going to be very tight for Morgan to get another lap in, but he doesn't need to do another lap. Someone else was set in purple sectors. It's Henry Morse in Street Casuals. He's just entering the final sector now. He's got Jerry Agard in front of him. Can he get a good exit out the hairpin? He's got a double toe as he exits the final corner. Greg Otley goes up into P3. Patrick Dupart goes up into P3. Greg Otley for ZFG in the top 4. Joshua Germany goes top 5. What can Henry Morse do? He's going to be up there if he hasn't invalidated it. Oh, it doesn't look like it's jumping up. He's still 9 tenths down. I think it was invalid, and he's not going to get another lap in. Henry Morse's qualifying is over. He is in P11. Eric Manenfeld, the top Street Casuals car right now, as Austin Farr, for some reason, is far, far down that order, is 6.6 seconds back. I mean, we're talking about field spread. That is definitely going to be one way of increasing that average field spread of our races. 6.6 seconds. Austin Farr has had an absolute nightmare. I'm not sure how many more people are going to get another lap in. I think this will be our last trio, to be honest. They've got 30 seconds to make it round these final few corners. It's Morgan Burkhardt, Alexander Van der Velde, and Kyle Ridley. Morgan Burkhardt currently sits on pole already. Van der Velde is in P20. Kyle Ridley is currently 23rd. Are any of these going to improve? They've got 12 seconds, 11, 10, 9. There's 9 seconds left on the clock. We've got Greg's fans in chat saying, yes, Greg, get in there, Greg. He's in P4 currently. Morgan Burkhardt, does he improve on the 33.2? He does not. Van der Velde moves up 2 spots. He's in 18th. And Ridley goes P4. Just beats Greg with the last second. Kyle Ridley. That amazing stuff. Well done to the Frog Leap Juiced Racing driver. Let's have a look at that grid. Morgan Burkhardt then takes pole position for the second time this season. Jake Cranston starts side by side with him, the 2 championship leaders. Patrick Dupart and Kyle Ridley are on the second row. Greg Otley and Joshua Germany, the third row. Daniel Downing and John Bailiff, fourth row. Eric Manenfeld, Stephen King, Andre Majorek, and Henry Morse round off your top 12. Corpus, Fox, Henriksen, Huffman, Burns, Wallace, Van der Velde, and Toiki, top 20. Corpus with P13. Strong showing from him. Dan Thornton ended up in 21st. Agard 22nd. Hughes 23rd. And Mundere 24th. Ikalakwe, Caraday, Vanols, Weiswanger, Holmichael, Farr, Murray, and Dan Blake in 32nd place. Austin Farr down in 30th, giving himself a little challenge for most positions gained this race, I imagine. As we have a look, what's our best starting angle? This looks like a decent starting camera. We've got about 1 minute left. Joseph Gibson says, yes, Patrick, let's go. Patrick, Giga Chad. Giga Chad is being thrown around a lot these days. Street Casuals team has been described as Giga Chad, and now Patrick Dupart, who is up there in P3. The top 3 again. Someone has awoken this Polish machine. We knew he had pace early season, which is why he got on the grid. But he just wasn't showing it. Racecraft-wise, the inexperience kept creeping through. Crashes were happening. He was getting involved, and he ended up down the order, which we see so often to many of the drivers, even the more experienced ones. But we thought we would blame it on Patrick's inexperience. And now look at him. He qualified pole last time out. He finished second only to Jake Cranston. And now he's in P3 at Long Beach, one of the toughest tracks we visited. And he's got Jake Cranston and Morgan Burkhardt for company again. But he's also got Carl Ridley on his right, who popped in a perfect lap at the end there to go P4. Greg Otley in P5, who is going to get the best start. The lights come on, and we get ready to start our first race of the day. It's the sprint race. The lights are off, and who's going to get the best start? It's all pretty even at the top. No wheel spin for Jake Cranston, but Morgan Burkhardt gets away cleanly. Patrick Dupart slots in front of Carl Ridley as they head down towards turn 1. Where is the overall? I'll tell you what, let's have a look at this camera. Oh, well, that's not going to go well, is it? 3, 4, 5 wide down towards turn 1. This is everyone jostling for position. Alexander van der Velde trying to find a space. They all need to brake nice and early. Donnie Henriksen gets a bit of a rub on the rear as they go now towards the roundabout. There's knocking. There's 4Xs everywhere. They're 2x2 as they all check up into the roundabout, but no pile up yet, which is good to see. Although I say that, I think a car just went wide in back at the back somewhere. Duncan Murray might have been involved. Jan Weiswanger, they're still side by side, as you can hear all the knocking. They're still 2x2. I think that's it's Andy Fox, who I might have got a slowdown there at T4 or 5. The 2 Street Casuals cars side by side. That's Mannenveld and Morse racing. Huffman on the inside of Henry Morse. Bit of a knock there on exit as Stephen King up the road. But your leader is still Morgan Burkhardt, Cranston, Dupart, Ridley and Germany and Bailiff. Your top 6. Everyone in the top 4 still in the same order. Greg Otley was the big loser there at the start. He's lost out 3 places, but he has survived and he's still in this race. And now he's got Stephen King for company right behind him as they all come down towards the final sector. Austin Farr is up 4 places back there. He's making his way through. He's on the inside of Alejandro Carade. That's a risky racer is Alejandro Carade. He defends very well for... This isn't meant in a mean way, but for his pace, he defends very well. As we see a meatball car sideways in the back section, and we hear all the knocks of the hairpin. Van der Velde, Wallace, big contacts, and Bailiff is in the pit lane. I wonder if that was a meatball for that man. That's a shame if it was. Van der Velde has come up as a crash, so has Sebastian Holmichael. But Bailiff Day starts off in a bad way. Let's have a look at what happened to Alexander Van der Velde. Comes into this corner. Does he get tagged round into the hairpin? Andy Fox has a look up the inside, does he? That wasn't actually... Oh, okay. He just started riding up the door of Andy Fox. That was an interesting one. Sebastian Holmichael we saw sideways. How did that happen? Bounced over the curve. It was into this next left-hander somehow. Oh, he's just chucked it in. He's lost the rear, and everyone actually nearly avoided it. Jan Weiswanger just collecting him there at the end. And I see that there's been another crash. Brandon Hughes has had an issue with Dan Blake. Is it a big issue going into turn 1? Oh, no, it wasn't with Dan Blake. He just slid it round. We've seen that a lot from Brandon this season. Goldwing drivers. Sam Van Olst. Who's he make contact with? It's into the roundabout. Sam Van Olst is on the inside of Jesus there. Oh, Dan Thornton gets tagged by Jesus, saves it. And then Jesus tags around Sam Van Olst. That's what happened to him. And then everyone continues on their way. Sam reverses into the wall. And away they go. Let's go back live to catch up with what is happening at the front of this train as we go on to lap 3 of 8, sorry. 2 for 1 for Jesus, but Dan Thornton survived, so that is good news. But Sam Van Olst not so lucky as Majorek and Huffman are racing down this straight. It looks like Huffman might have damage, or he's moving out the way as people are flying past now. I wonder if he got a slowdown on that rear, the last section. It is possible. Henriksen's going to come past as well. Has Huffman got damage? He's got Corpus behind now. He's a bit squirrely on the brakes, is Jameson Huffman. And then there is David Corpus for Lurchus Gaming, up in P15. He's having a cracking race. I'll tell you who's still up there. Greg Otley is now only down 2 places. He's still up in P7. Stephen King's still behind. Brandon Hughes swaps over with Dan Blake. I think he just made that move stick into turn 1. Goes into the roundabout ahead in P28, Dan Blake in P29. We saw Dan not get much track time, so he's just finding his feet. Is Dan Blake in the Team 12 car, the lovely looking Team 12 car. Cranston has closed down the gap to 4 tenths to Morgan Burkhardt now, but these two are very sensible and probably going to try and break away from the people behind. Patrick Dupart is on for his second podium in as many races. He got the podium last time out. Dan Blake has swapped back with Brandon Hughes. Not sure how that happened. It's already made that move. Let's have a quick look at how Dan Blake got that position back. Brandon Hughes went straight into the wall. Dan Blake got the better exit. He's just going to go around the outside. Easily done. Let's go back live as we see Jerry Agard up the road. I think he's about to try and put a move on Jan Weiswanger. Let's have a look if he can get this done into I think this is T9 and 10, if I'm not mistaken, into the right-hander. Weiswanger gives plenty of room on the outside there, but Jerry's going to slot in behind, or is he going to try and hold it around the outside of turn 10? No, he's too far back to make this move stick into T11, but if he gets a good exit out of this corner, look how tight this hairpin is. Gets the best exit he can, and now he's going to have slipstream all the way down this back straight. Henry Morse, speaking of the back straight, is trying to close down on Stephen King as we see a car come out the pits. That's Sam Van Nolst there. John Bailiff is actually not far away from everybody else, as I think Martin Wallace has just passed someone on it's Timu Toika, whose front end looks a little bit worse for wear. To be honest, for that Pulsar's car, but Martin Wallace moves up into P16 and Mundere is making more moves. It was on Dan Thornton this time. Let's see how that move was done. Oh, there it is. People just taking in too much speed into turn 1. They're really... Oh, Dan's going to get another tag from behind, is he? No, he doesn't. He survives. Oh, no, there it was. Austin Farr gives him a little bit of a knock. Or was that Carraday who gave him a bit of a knock? People are going to get dangerously close to the X limit round here because I'm not even sure who's hitting who anymore. But the X limit is 24. It always has been. It always will be for this season. It doesn't change depending on the circuit as we approach the halfway stage. When you reach 24X, you get a drive-through penalty. If you reach a further, I think it's 30, reach 32X in total, then you get DQ'd from the race. That's a fair amount of contacts, but people are going to use them up very heavily around here as Austin Farr goes to the inside of Carraday through this final section, and now he's on the outside for turn 10. Should get the inside for the hairpin, and he does very much have the inside for the hairpin. Carraday gives him plenty of space. Duncan Murray gets a bit of a tag from behind from Equilacque, but it's all safe. Whoa, there's a car absolutely murdering the pit lane. That is Dan Thornton. I think we need to have a replay of that. Let's have a look at how much he just attacks that pit lane entry. I'm not sure what happened. He must have hit the wall with the rear of his car. That was a weird one. Throws it in reverse to get into his pit box. Another car hitting the wall there. That was a Goldwing car. I think that's Duncan Murray. At this, yeah, it is. He's in 23rd place, is Duncan. The other Goldwing car of Dan Downing still up 1 place. We're on lap 5 of 8. He's up in P6. He's got Greg Otley behind in P7. Kyle Ridley is still there in P4 for Frogleap Juiced Racing. I think it's time. Let's have a look at... Oh, look at this. Bridge cam. So we hear the diesel engines roar past us. Joshua Germany there in P5 as well. Jake Cranston still sitting pretty just behind Morgan Burkhardt. Greg Otley is closing. Henry Morse is very close to Stephen King. As you just saw them there fly past your screens. Dan Thornton was in the pit lane for 42 seconds, so he must have sped. Into the hairpin they go. That is the gap between Henry Morse and Stephen King. Eric Maninveld there as well. Eric, being teammates with Henry Morse, is probably going to help his teammate through this section. He's going to push him down this straight to try and get the run. He's not close enough to push his teammate, who... Oh, look at the speed of these things coming down through this main straight. They really are going fast down there. And look at Dan Thornton coming out of the pits in front of the leaders. I'm sure he'll play it safe going into turn 1. Yeah, he's just going to... Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do, is just pull over there, to be honest. 3 tenths back, Jake Cranston from the leader. These 4 breaking away from Joshua Germany. But all eyes, I think the closest battle... Well, this battle's all over the place, really. Jake Cranston has the fastest lap of the race so far. 3 tenths back from Burkhardt. Ridley, 4 tenths back from Dupart. The next closest is Morse and Maninveld and Majorek, who are following the train of Stephen King, currently in P8. Stephen Burns is currently holding 4. He's up 5 position So 5 positions is the Scottish driver Stephen Burns for Win It or Bin It. 5 positions is a good take, and he's currently on pole position for the feature race. Donnie Henriksen is in P13, 1 away, but he's got Huffman for company, who's looking quick. He's only a 10th back. He's alongside his Huffman. He's got his nose up his inside, down towards turn 9 and 10. And he looks like he's going to get that done. Henry Morse, I think, plays it safe there. Backs out, lets him have that position, and they survive for another day. P13 for Huffman, Henriksen P14. David Corpus for Lurchers Gaming is still very much in 15th place as Martin Wallace is swapping places with Alexander van der Velde. Through this they go. They're leaning on each other into the hairpin. Van der Velde has the inside. Wallace goes nice and wide to try and get the best exit. Timu Toika gives him room on the exit. Who's going to get the best run now? Martin Wallace, very smart driving. That was really fantastic stuff from both the drivers there. Leaning is frowned upon when it results in a crash, but when they make it through like that, damn, it looks good. It really does. Lost for words. Duncan Murray is up 8 places. Who is the biggest gainer in this race, though? It is, of course, Austin Farr, who is currently up 10 places. There he is, just in the back of shot in P20. Started in 30th place. Agard and Lequay swap over into turn 1, or do they? Because Lequay holds it round the outside. Through to the roundabout they go. Lequay's going to have the inside. He's going to get tight through there. Holds it, does the Lurchers Gaming car of Ika Lequay. Jerry Agard has to settle back for 25th place. Fantastic racing from those two, the Swiss driver and the Portuguese driver. Probably, wait, I'm going to get this wrong, so there's no point. I'm probably going to cause offence. I want to say Basque. Is it Basque driver? But the flag not working. Or actually, I think it does work on SDK, but there we go. Maybe we'll have a look at that. Sebastian Holmike was looking close to Sam Van Nolst back here. 2 temps between them, and Bailiff is back up into 29th place after his earlier meatball, I think it was, because he went into the pits very early on. And he's having more contact issues with Brandon Hughes there, who looks like he's just going to move out of his way. Oh, no, he's just moved to the right and then moved back. It is white flag. Morgan Burkhardt and Jake Cranston have just crossed the line. This is what it looks like from the back of Morgan Burkhardt's car. I've never noticed it's a Volkswagen on the rear wing of the Project Dynamic machine, as I think Jerry Agard and Ika Lequay are racing again, and I don't think it's ended that well this time. Here they are, Lequay and Agard into T10. This is the final section. Into the hairpin they're going to go. Agard on the inside. Oh, no! Agard, well, he's going to wish we didn't see that. Shall we have another replay of that? Because that is confusing. This is what it looks like. We'll slow it down when we get to the apex. So Agard comes around turn 10. And he doesn't make contact with Ika Lequay. He does, in fact, make contact with the inside wall, which does this to his car. Oh. And there we go. And then I think he's going to get another hit. Yeah, from Jan Weiswanger, who had nowhere to go. Bounces him back on his wheels. That'll be a picture. Mr. Kakula will definitely get a picture of that man on his roof. 100%. Anyway, this is your lead fight. Jake Cranston still very much behind as we go into the final corner. He's not close. It looked like he was going to commit to descend. He's hit the wall on the inside. That's going to ruin his chances. And look at these two as they come flying out of the final corner. And I think Henry Morse has just passed Stephen King into the hairpin. It must have been an almighty send, but your leaders, Morgan Burkhardt, is going to take the victory here for the sprint race of Long Beach. Nearly called it Laguna Seca. Cranston P2 and Patrick Dupart takes the 2nd podium in a row. Carl Ridley was there in P4. He'll be happy with that. Joshua Germany P5 down in P6. Greg Otley P7. All 3 of these I met on F1 2019. And they finish in P5, 6 and 7. But Henry Morse, before this session ticks over, I want to see that pass very quickly. Can we see it? They're fighting into turn 10. King and Henry Morse. Round the outside goes Henry. He is very much on the inside of that hairpin. Do they make contact? Stephen King tries to hold him tight. Henry hits the wall, and he just can't get the run out of the corner, can King? Oh, does he get passed by Manenveld as well? I don't think he does. I think he holds on to it as the session ticks over into the warm-up zone. So, let's have a look at those results. Let's put that music on that I always forget to turn off. Let's have a catch-up on chat as well. I saw 2 for 1 for Yeezus, says Valdez31. Good to see the Lurchers supporters back. Valdez, nice to see you. Go bowling with Yeezus. Krista Plays says Morse and Manetveld could be pushing together. I saw that. Let's go Greg. Go Martin. Greg, you're the man. We love you. Go Austin Farr. Push them positions. Give Greg some camera time. would need 3 cameras to fit Greg in. So, same stuff every time. Get in there, Patrick, says Joe Gibson. Very happy for another podium for Team ORD there. Andre Majorek P11 is going to be starting in second for the feature race. 0 incident points, not even a wall scrape, says Andre Majorek. Now that deserves an award all in itself. Long Beach, 0 incidence points and a P11. 7 tenths back from Eric Mannenfeld and a little bit further ahead. Well, may have just been a lucky race, but reasonably clean, I think, actually, and I hope it doesn't go to people's heads and the feature race stays the same. Christoph Plays says Morse took over King's position. He did. We saw the replay at the end, and it was a great move for P8 for Henry Morse, who is the highest finishing Street Casuals car. He wants a win today, does Henry Morse. This is his home. We can call this his home race. I know we said all the American tracks are all the Americans' home race, but this really is one of Henry Morse's home tracks, I would say. Anyway, the results. Morgan Burkhardt, Jake Cranston, Patrick Dupart, Carl Ridley, Josh Germany, Dan Downing, Greg Otley, Henry Morse, King, Mannenfeld, Majorek and Burns. Majorek and Burns starting on your front row, with Mannenfeld and King your second row for the feature. Remember, we reverse the top 12. Jameson Huffman, Donny Henriksen, Corpus and Van der Velde, your top 16. Martin Wallace, Toyka, Fox, Farr, your top 20. Amundere, Caraday, Duncan Murray up in 23rd, Ika Lequay, Weiswanger, Blake, Hughes, Bailiff down in 28th, Agard, Van Olsholm, Michael and Dan Dalton. We expect, I say we expect, we assume, expect is the wrong word. We expect, no, I've just said, change that word. We assume, oh my god, get my words out, it's freaking cloudy out there. Imagine if we had rain on this game. We assume that everyone at one point is going to have a bad round. Now, I can't think of a round where John has had an absolute nightmare, but my memory is terrible. But this might be the one. A 28th place is going to hurt that man's championship fight, especially with Morgan Burkhardt taking the win and Jake Cranston in P2. King was up there as well. So, interesting. It's interesting stuff how it plays out, and obviously we don't actually end up seeing the full championship order until the start of the next round, which will be in 2 weeks' time. In fact, let's have a quick look at your schedule for the season. This is what it looks like so far. We have the first 3 rounds where Burkhardt and Bailiff took honours at Donington, Thurtle and Bailiff took honours at Brands Hatch, Burkhardt and Germany Zandvoort for your first triple header. We then had a break week and started our quadruple header of the American leg. Cranston took a double at Lime Rock, something we didn't think we'd see, and then Burkhardt proves us wrong again by taking the double at Summit Point, making him the leader in overall wins. He had 4 wins to his name to Cranston's 2 at the time. And then we went to Laguna Seca. Cranston took the win in the sprint from Patrick Dupart, who led most of the race, and Teemu Toyka took his first win of the season, putting Cranston on 3 wins, Burkhardt on 4. And then Burkhardt has just taken the win here, which puts him on 5 wins now, to Jake Cranston's 3 wins. But Jake just putting in slightly more consistent finishes, I think, to still be that far ahead in the championship. But 5 points closed in for Morgan Burkhardt is a step in the right direction. Can he do it again in this next race? This is where things are going to get feisty. Remember, we have pit stops in the feature. They don't have enough fuel to make it to the end. They don't need to change tyres. They don't have enough fuel to make it to the end. So everyone has to stop. They can't pit before lap 5. The only way they can pit before lap 5 is if they get a meatball. And the meatballs can be checked now. I didn't think they could, but I found out a way that you can. So anyone that pits without a meatball will get a strong reprimand. Is that the word? Could just say penalty. Makes it sound like what it is. Avavoom says, let's go ZFG. Greg is having himself a day. Yes, he is. He'll be happy with that, and I think his fan club may even be happy. I think with a result like that, let's see how he gets on in the feature, but with a result like that, he may end up in the interview room, will Mr. Otley. I don't know what to expect here, to be honest. Break for a drink. Reminder, drive of the day after 14 laps, says Christoph Plays. Do you know what? I am going to have a drink. As we see, what other cam? Let's have a look at the blimp cam around Long Beach. That'll show some of the scenery. When I say scenery, I mean that massive car park. I never realised how iRacing... I thought, right, when obviously the tracks are laser scanned and stuff like that, but I thought there were massive sponsorship issues with using real world names in things like this. But in fairness to iRacing, they have got many of the real world stuff and just whacked it in the game for no reason. Like, no one is going to notice. Henry Morse went past it a minute ago. No one is going to notice there's an H&M in that shopping centre that he drove past. If we just stay... Oh, he's in the pit lane. I was hoping he was going to go down the main straight. I think Alexander van der Velde might be. If we just stay with Alex as he goes down towards turn 1. You should see a Hooters on the left-hand side. That's the orange building. And then there's like a cinema and stuff on the right, which is fully marked. And then it was around about here where you see the shopping centre. I think is that a bowling alley? It looks like or maybe just a big car park actually. That'll be why it says park on the top. There's H&M, bottom right. There's the cinema, Cinemark, Levi's, Express. There's a Nike shop there. Why is that in the game? It's small details. And I'll tell you what, Ferrari Challenge went to Le Mans. The Le Mans circuit is a hot topic over there. Starbucks coffee. Ferrari Challenge went to Le Mans. I did a track guide for it. And what I'd never noticed, I don't know if it was an update in the game or maybe with one of the updates my graphics settings have changed or something. But there's a KFC down that back straight. You know that straight on that circuit that's about 5 minutes long? Would be in this car anyway. There's a KFC on the right hand side. Baffling. Small things, please, small minds. That's me. Anyway, thank you to those of you who have joined us so far, whether you're watching with us on the Racing Line YouTube or Twitch, or the VCO eSports YouTube or Twitch. Thank you to GT Omega and VCO eSports for being with us for our third season now. Third season of the Jetta Cup. First season we were alone. Second season the boys came on board. There's the Hooters and Chili's. Second season they came on board, VCO eSports and GT Omega. We did the RLTC, would be their second season with us, and then season 3 of the Jetta Cup is their third season with us. It's a good partnership. We've got a little subscriber race going on at the moment. I think we're just under... I think we're on 7... Racing Line is 7,300 and something. VCO eSports is 6,300 and something. So we're still climbing. Subscribe to us if you haven't already. Both channels. I know VCO eSports Twitch is popping off as well. It gets pretty busy. I need to rattle through this grid because we only got a minute to do it. Ready? I haven't forgotten the music, so don't need to remind me. Let's get that grid up. This is what it looks like. Stephen Burns on pole position. Majorek in P2. Manitveld, King, Morse, Otley, Downing, Germany, Ridley, Depart, Cranston and Burkhardt. Your top 12. Rest of the grid: Huffman, Henriksen, Corpus, Van der Velde, Vollis, Toyka, Fox, Farr, Amundere, Caraday, Murray, Lequay, Weiswanger, Blake, Hughes, Bailiff, Agard, Vinal, Sol, Michael, and Dan Thornton in 32nd place, rounding off your grid. He was doing well. Where can he get to? Can he stay safe in this race? Stephen Burns on pole position. Let's get that camera view back. This was the one. Just got word that Martin is using his legs for this race. He is fully testing out the new hips. Yes, he is indeed. Kakula is writing stars in chat. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's censoring a swear word or what's going on with Kakula. I think maybe he's just... Is he waving? He's waving for my attention. Anyway, 3 seconds till the lights come on. Here we go. You should see the lap time counter when they all cross the line. I support Fat Timu, says Real Ilpu in chat. Ilpo, 5 lights are on, and away they go. No wheel spin for the front two, who get a very smooth getaway, and Burns is going to comfortably lead in towards turn 1. But it is a very, very long run down to turn 1 indeed. So let's see who, in fact, is actually going to come out on top. I think they should be safe. As we see Stephen King on the inside. Henry Morse is going to try and follow him through. Almost made it 3 wide. And Andre Marek swoops around the outside as Stephen Burns into T1 and takes the lead of the race. Andre Marek for ORD goes up into P1. Stephen Burns, that sounds like contact behind as they all shuffle through the roundabout. There's a Goldwing car round. People are going to try and avoid it. That car needs to hold their brakes. It's Dan Downing. There's someone else round. It's a Project Dynamic car. Was it Morgan Burkhardt? It's Alexander Van der Velde. Burkhardt has survived. Championship leader is safe. Van der Velde is down the order. Dupart is down the order as well after having such a strong result. And Daniel Downing is there facing the wrong way. Van der Velde has, I think, jumped to the pit lane. And Patrick Dupart is... Oh my God, Kyle. Who is that NASCAR driver? Is it Kyle Larson or am I just making it up? What's he doing? There he goes. He's going around the right way. Corpus is swapping positions with someone. Caraday is swapping positions, but Chaos on the opening lap of Long Beach. So that was the first proper crash we've seen, to be honest. Timu Toika is showing up as having a crash. He's down there. I think that might have been with everyone else as we see Austin Farr having a look at Henriksen, and is that Huffman? These two have come together a couple times this season. Huffman and Fox side by side into turn 10. Austin Farr trying to gain more places as he's on the inside of Henriksen for the hairpin. He's going to try and follow Andy Fox, who's hit the wall and stopped, and that's hindered Austin Farr's run out of there. Caraday gets touched by Duncan Murray, and a Goldwing car is round again. That is Sam Van Olst this time as we see more cars pile up into the hairpin. I told you the feature was not... Sam Van Olst is reversing out of people's way. The feature was where people were going to get their heads in the game. And look at this, 3 wide. Amundere, Austin Farr, and Martin Wallace going down towards turn 1. Martin Wallace is firmly on the inside. Amundere needs to be careful of a slowdown there on the outside of turn 1. But Austin Farr around the outside of Martin Wallace keeps it there. And that was Caraday around the outside of Ikalakwe, who's going to get that position done as well. Gets it into the corner, gives him room on the exit. Nice and safe, although there was a little bit of nudging. Timu Toika in the pits. Van Olst is out of the race. Van der Velde is still in the pits as well. Toika's stop was 11.2 seconds. It will be checked if he had a meatball or not after the race. So much for a clean race, says Tide 323. Prob sending a link. Flipping image link. Ow. So much for a clean race, says Tide 323. Well, I mean... It's the start of the race. It was bound to happen eventually, but the race is not over. As we see the lights come on, is this going to get dark here today? Did not expect that. I've got a lot of crashes on my timing screen. Let's see if we can catch up with some of these. Timu Toika was one of the first ones we saw. What happened to him? Him and Huffman. Oh, that was that was an overreaction from the Jetta there as they were bouncing off the walls and each other. Austin Farr. What happened to Austin? Oh, we saw this. This is where he drove into the back of Andy, and then there was more behind Duncan Murray into the back of Caraday. It'll all be watched back, of course, but these drivers need to be aware that at this point in the season it's entering quali ban zone. Depending on warnings and the amount of penalties. That 3 wide shot is fantastic. Look at that. Spectacular as they're all pretty much even speed down the straight. But let's go back live and see what is happening in the actual world of racing. John Bailiff is up into 26th, who got stuck behind some of that traffic at the back. This was probably the worst race to end up near the back of the sprint race because you're at the mercy of everyone else's driving as Sam Van Olst is, well, he's out of the race. I'm surprised we haven't seen Van der Velde move up a position because he is still very much in. Morgan Burkhardt is right behind Joshua Germany, and we know what Joshua Germany's like. He's a big defender, as I think Austin Farr, he's blinking, I think. Carl Ridley has had a crash somewhere. He's down in P10. Joshua Germany, though, getting attacked by Morgan Burkhardt on the inside. That's going to give Burkhardt the outside for turn 10, which is going to give him the what? The inside for the hairpin. Oh, and there's that rear slide again as he hits the wall. Joshua Germany giving him plenty of room, though. That slide needs to be fixed from iRacing. As soon as the rear wheels touch, the rear end just gets sent round. Yes, Sam Van Olst, I can see you've left. You are out of the race, and now Alexander van der Velde is out as well. Jameson Huffman comes into pit lane on lap 4, hopefully with a meatball, so that he has served the correct rules, as Henry Morse and Morgan Burkhardt are racing it out into turn 1. Henry Morse moves up into B8 there as a result of that contact in the hairpin. Agard and Weisfanger into turn 1. Agard moves up into P20 as well. Your top, though, Andre Majorek, still leads this race from Burns, from King, from Manenveld, from Otley. Is it going to come down to pit stops? Huffman's stop was 10.5 seconds. Screenshot of lit Jetta has taken. Yeah, it's quite nice seeing the headlights. I think this might be the first sort of sunset race that we've had. I don't think it's going to get fully dark. I hope it doesn't. That wasn't the expectation. But it is what it is. Anyway, Andre Majorek leads this race. Jake Cranston has somehow found himself up into P6. I'm surprised Josh Germany let him past. I didn't see how Jake got past the defence of Joshua Germany. Josh likes to make it difficult for your old championship leader, your two-time champion. In fact, I think I found it. Same point. He's letting him go around his out. That's his problem, look. Once he's on the outside there, he can't do anything. Oh, but everyone is scraping that inside wall of the hairpin, and they're really playing with fire. Morgan Burkhardt comes into the pits on lap 5. How long is he going to be in the pit box for? Take a look at the bottom of your screens. It says flashing pit. You should see a time there any second now. 10.5 was Jameson Huffman's. This is a long pit stop. Has he sped in the pit lane? This is a very long stop for Morgan Burkhardt, your championship rival for Jake Cranston. 10.9 seconds it showed, but somehow he's down in 27th place. Why did I feel like that was a very long eternity for Morgan Burkhardt? Maybe it's because he was driving down the very long pit lane. 10.9 is not a bad stop. Ignore me, I'm being over dramatic for no reason. Eric Manenveld very much having looks at Stephen King here in the Street Casuals car in P4. He's 2 temps back. These two need to not fight if they want a chance of winning this race. This goes for both of them. If Manenveld wants a chance of winning, you could say he needs to get past Stephen, but you could also say he just needs a better pit stop. He's got Burns and Majorek ahead. Now Majorek's had a few pit stop issues this season, so you would assume that maybe that might happen again, as Henry Morse and Joshua Germany are going at it. Joshua Germany just lets Henry through. Up into P7 is Henry Morse on lap 5 out of 16 for Long Beach. I think Josh is just trying to play it safe today by the looks of it. Just claim any points that he can. And Eric Manenveld comes into the pit lane. Takes his pit stop. Let's have a look at what it looks like. In fact, let's have a look at pit stops and pit times. There's pit times and there is pit stops. We've got a load of people coming in now on lap 6, so a lot of people opting for the early stop today. This is interesting stuff. Either they're in traffic and they want a bit of clean air to try and put their own laps in. 9.3 for Andy Fox, 8.6 for Donnie Henriksen. That is a quick stop. That screams to me underfueled. That time right there, 8.6 compared to everyone else. Duncan Murray, 7.4. If Donnie Henriksen is underfueled, Duncan Murray is not making it to the end of this race. He is going to have to stop again. I don't care what you say. Let's say Henriksen has cut it fine and could get to the end. Duncan Murray isn't making it to the end. Dan Blake, 8.2. That's a quick stop as well. These guys have broken records here. 8.1 is 2 temps. No, there's 5 temps quicker than Donnie Henriksen. As Timu Toika, I think, has crashed. How? Is this someone coming out of the pit lane exit? Dan Blake just pit. As had Sebastian Holmichael. Oh no, he's going to go deep into turn 1. He's hit the wall. Dan Blake straight into the back of him. Nowhere to go for Sebastian Holmichael and Dan Downing. Timu Toika absolutely missed turn 1. Pulls over. Had he already pit? I think he's gonna. Is he gonna carry on now? He's moved out of the way. Dan Blake had just pit. That's frustrating for the Team 12 driver. Caught up in another accident of no fault of his own. Timu Toika had pit already due to an earlier meatball, and now he's back at it again. But your leaders still look like this. Greg Otley in P4 now, with Cranston in P5 due to people stopping. 7.4 does seem very low. Real Ilpo says, I support Fat Timu, who is probably now out of the good point scoring rounds for this race. Anyway, lap 7 of 16. We're approaching the halfway point, and half of the drivers have stopped. But your top group are very much actually doing quite well, and they're going long here. They feel comfortable with each other. They think they're putting in the lap times. They're putting in the correct lap times. Agard is 8.3. These people have either worked out the perfect pit stop time, or they're all under fueling. I think I take it back about Donny Henriksen, because we've seen a few more people get 8.3s, 8.1s. But the 7 seconds, 7.4 from Duncan, that seems extremely low. It really does. Jake Cranston sizing up Greg Otley here for an overtake. This is your top 5 at the moment. And Jake Cranston darts to the pit lane. So he's decided he's had enough of that. He's getting held up by the ZFG driver, who is currently in P4. And he comes into the pit lane. Your leader of pit stoppers is currently Eric Manintveld. So let's have a look. He's down 12 positions right now, he's showing. But let's have a look at what it looks like from the top of his car. It is very sketchy. Sub 9 second pit stop could be interesting on the final lap. The pit entry is sketchy. Yeah, you got to chuck it into that chicane. But where is Jake Cranston as Eric Manintveld comes out the exit of that hairpin? He's going to have massive speed compared to the slow Masters of Torque car, who is just about coming out of the pits now. You can see him down the road. You just saw him in that gap. I think Jake Cranston's going to be comfortably in the lead, but look at the overspeed here. He's going to close right down as he gets into the entry of turn 1, gets it into the apex, and Jake Cranston is well within sight of Eric Manintveld, but he is still ahead. But Eric, only 9/10ths back at the moment, is well within slipstream, and they can continue their race as it was. But Jake Cranston is now your leader with an 8.5 second stop. Now look at that. I said pit stops were important. If Manintveld had matched Jake Cranston's pit stop, they would have come out side by side, because the gap is around 9/10ths right now, and their pit stop difference is 8/10ths. So that is how important the pit stops are around any track, really, and that's why we love these feature races. Greg Otley comes into the pit lane for ZFG. He's decided it is time. He doesn't want to let Jake Cranston get enough laps in to close this gap. What is his stop time going to be, though? Jake Cranston, let's go on top of Jake Cranston's car now and see if we can see the ZFG car, the Masters of Torque cars who we're on board with. This is around the same point that that Manintveld was at when we were watching him chase down Jake, but Greg is still very much in his pit box. 9.3 seconds to stop. It's a second slower. It's 8/10ths again, slower than Jake Cranston. I think Jake could get this move done, although we should see Greg on the right-hand side of the screens. He's not out of the pit lane yet, so he hasn't started speeding up. Now he's going to start speeding up, and Jake is very much going to have the inside for turn 1. Greg Otley's on his right-hand side. They're going to be side by side. Greg can turn. He's not going to turn. He's kept it safe. Greg Otley almost makes contact with Eric Manintveld there. One of them hit the wall. I'm not sure which one it was. It'll be annoying for Greg if it was him, especially if he got a meatball. Let's have another look at Manintveld and Greg Otley as they come out the pits. This is Eric Manintveld. Greg Otley is the car ahead who gave Jake Cranston a wide berth, and it was Manintveld who hit the wall. Greg Otley did well, actually, to avoid contact there. I wonder if Maninveld's car is okay, but no one else stopping yet. Jan Weiswanger for Meatball Motorsport. Look at that damaged rear end. He's currently in P8 with Jesus Amundere up in P7. They haven't stopped yet, of course. Majorek and Burns come into the pit lane together. Your lead cars are stopping now. Henry Morse decides to follow. Joshua Germany and Stephen King continue for Pulsus eSports. So the only drivers that haven't stopped yet are King, Germany, Austin Farr for Street Casuals up 14 places. Jesus Amundere is up 14 places. He comes into the pits now. Jan Weiswanger, is he going to go out another lap? No. He comes into the pits as well. So only 3 drivers yet to stop. It's King, Germany and Austin Farr. We're on lap 10 of 16. What is going to happen to these drivers? Where is Jake Cranston? Let's go on top of his car once again. Where is Andre Mayerek and Stephen Burns? Your leaders have pit. I cannot see. That's Henry Morse on the right-hand side. He's had a slow... Has he had a slow stop, or is he just going to get past? Oh, I think Jake Cranston is going to come out behind Stephen Burns unless he can send it down the inside of turn 1. He's going to get the run as he turns in towards the apex. He's going to just about pass Stephen. He does. And Andre Mayerek, though, keeps the position from Jake Cranston. This is what it looks like behind. Stephen Burns just slots in there behind the two-time Jetta Cup champion, who is currently leading this season standings. He's up into P5 right now. Those boys up ahead need to think about stopping, because Mayerek was leading this race, and now he has got the champion behind him. This is going to be a solid defense from Andre if he can keep this. He's got 6 laps to claim a Jetta Cup win. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Andre's won in the Jetta Cup, which means this would be his first win ever in this car. He's won something, and I'm assuming it was in the RLTC. It was a touring car race. As we see King in Germany come in, Austin Farr is going another lap. Oh no, he is in the pits. It was just a little bit further back. So, Andre Mayerek then leads out of the pit stoppers. What are the Pulsars boys and Austin Farr going to do in this stop? Cranston slots in behind, tries to get the better exit out the hairpin. He's going to size up Andre Mayerek down this straight as Stephen King leaves the pits with an 11.8 second stop. That is not enough. He is going to get past 100%. That is a slow pit stop for Stephen King. Joshua Germany, a 9.2 second stop. Andre Mayerek passes Germany, passes King, takes the lead of the race. Jake Cranston behind takes P2. King and Germany go down to P5 and P7. Important are pit stops. They stayed in there for way too long as Greg Otley passes Stephen King as well. The Pulsars boys, a disappointing stop section for them. In fact, let's have a look at Greg Otley's pass on Stephen King. This is probably the closest battle as they went side by side. Greg Otley hits the apex. Stephen King does come out, so they didn't actually get anywhere near. Where is Joshua Germany in all this? He got past. Oh, he nearly got passed by Carl Ridley. Let's have another look at Henry passing Josh. You can see Josh actually quite far ahead there. Oh, that was going to be close. Henry Morse getting that move done. Very tight on the exit. But Andre Mayerek for ORD is still leading this race as Duncan Murray comes into the pit stop for a second time. Called it. Underfueled has that man. We can get rid of those pit stop times now because it's all eyes on these two. Your leader, Andre Mayerek, who looks like he's about to defend the hairpin. No, he does actually take the racing line. Jake Cranston's going to have another look at trying to... well, look at these two going at it. John Bailiff and Dan Downing into turn 9. Jake Cranston's going to try and get the run down towards turn 1. Can Andre put up the defense of his life and earn this win? I'm sure people will be happy with it. John Bailiff actually didn't get the move done on Dan Downing there. Jake Cranston. Duncan Murray is going to come out in front of the lead fight. Very much. That is very silly of that Goldwing driver there. Checks his mirrors though. No incidents. No one lost positions. Pit entry is so sketchy, we read that. I agree, Manintveld Flopper is better than Bingus. What a Giga Chad. You got this, Greg, says Bobo1992. Mayerek would be feeling the pressure from Cranston now. Definitely wasn't helped into turn 1, but still very much in the lead. Can't blame it now on the Goldwing driver. He's still in this position. Lap 12 of 16. This is what it looks like from behind the ORD machine. Jake Cranston, clear visor on as it starts to get dark. Cloudy sunset skies. Into turn 9 they go. Lifts off, does Jake Cranston. There's British flag mirrors. Into turn 10, chucks it right. Goes a little bit wide here compared to Cranston and then just cuts back. I think Cranston will be playing it safe here in terms of sending it in that hairpin. And look at the exit that Mayerek gets. He actually gets a stronger exit than the Masters of Torque car, but it's a very long, very long straight, and slipstream is massive. But what is going to happen here? 3/10 the gap. It's going to enter the 2/10 zone. Oh, it didn't. He lifted off again, did Jake Cranston. Dan Downing is past Jan Weiswanger. Or he's passing Jan Weiswanger. They're still side by side here into the hairpin. Bailiff is going to have a go as well on the inside. And now he's going to have the slipstream of the Goldwing driver up ahead. Slots in behind Weiswanger in the meatball cart. This race is going to continue very much down the straight. This is for P17. Dan Downing is in. Weiswanger is in P18. And John Bailiff right behind trying to gain that position. Did not get the run. Greg Otley. You know, I missed people in chat were saying, you got this, Greg. Greg Otley, after all the pit stops and after all is said and done, is in P5. Dan Downing, I think, has gone straight on at turn 1 because he's just lost a load of positions. So let's have a quick look at that. Was he hit or did he do it himself? Let's have a quick look. Oh, he was hit. He was very much hit by Jan Weiswanger there. That was a big hit as well. Survives. Hopefully wasn't a meatball. Can he carry on? I think there's been a change in the lead as well after all of that. This is what it looked like. It was on the back straight down towards turn 9. This was Andre's weakest point. Jake Cranston is on the inside, so this battle is going to continue. They lean on each other there. Into turn 9 they go. Andre moves over to the right-hand side to try and get a swooping line in towards turn 10. Jake Cranston still very much on the inside. Cuts across towards the hairpin, and now Andre tries to get a better exit. Oh no, that is Eric Mannenfeld on his roof. He's rolled it. He's hit the wall on the inside. The Street Casuals car has no luck this season. He is very much on his side, but Andre Mayerek loses the lead. That is the second week running that a ORD car has lost the lead in the late phase of a race to Jake Cranston. Jerry Agard is showing up as crashed. He must have stopped on the exit of the pit lane to let some people through because he is coming out of the pit lane. But that moves Stephen Burns up into P3 for a new podium sitter, and Greg Otley up into P4. Jake Cranston leads the way. Mayerek behind. You got to say, I think that might be done. And I think, is that going to be another double win? Did Jake Cranston win the first one? No, Morgan Burkhardt won the first one, didn't he? Yes, he did. There we go. So it's not a double win, but it's still a strong result, a first and a second for that man who's had absolute form during this American leg. It was looking like he'd met his match in the first part of the season whilst he found his feet. But Jake Cranston on lap 14 out of 16, approaching lap 15 out of 16, takes the lead of this race from Andre Mayerek, who is very much on for P2 here. Stephen Burns, P3. Greg Otley, P4. Closest fight now. Carl Ridley is chasing down Joshua Germany. They're side by side on the exit. Kyle Ridley very much behind Joshua Germany now. 1.5 temps. This is very close. This move is on. Joshua Germany moves to the left to defend. Kyle Ridley goes to the inside. He's going to get this done. He's very much on the inside for turn 1 now. Who's going to break later? Joshua Germany's going to try and hold it around the outside. Kyle turns into the apex. Josh does hold it around the outside. Now they go to the roundabout. Side by side, Kyle tries to cut across. Can't quite do it. They're still side by side on the exit. The battle continues. A bit of Australian netcode there. And round turn 4 they go. Still side by side, giving each other room. Kyle Ridley's not giving this up. Can he break later and get his nose in on the exit? Oh, he head towards the tyre wall. Has to back out a little bit. Slots in back behind Joshua Germany, who keeps hold of P7. You could argue, why didn't he defend like this to all the people that are ahead of him? But there he is in P7 fighting for his life with Kyle Ridley. Duncan Murray there, a lapped car, still just watching, fairly watching from behind. Who else is the closest fight? You got Bailiff up 12 positions, is chasing Huffman. He's in P16 right now, John Bailiff. He's looking feisty against Jameson Huffman for the Frog Leap Juiced Racing outfit. 3 temps the gap. Dan Thornton is up into 18th place, chasing down Jan Weiswanger for P17. Genuine fight for genuine position. Can he get it done? Heard some more contact up the road. Haven't seen many drive-thrus. Thought we'd see loads of them. Dan Thornton gets a good exit. Jan Weiswanger is under pressure here from the ORD car of Dan Thornton. Brandon Hughes behind. It is white flag as we go on to the final lap. Dan Thornton gets an almighty exit. Moves to the inside of Jan Weiswanger there. Leans on each other. That was very much, from that angle, unnecessary from Dan Thornton. Lent on the car. And there's a big pile up. That is a shame. Every time he's about to have a good result, something goes wrong. I think he's still going to be up there. driver of the day reminder is very well done. Let's put that up there. Driver of the day votes, people. Driver of the day. Do I have the link still set? No, that is the Simi Award link. That's not the driver of the day. You can, of course, click on that link to vote your Simi Awards. That's your driver of the day link coming in. Let's go back to your leaders of this race. This is Jake Cranston throwing it into the final sector. Gets close to the wall. Mayurek right behind. Burns. Otley in P4 has got King very much behind him for company as they all come flying to the bridge. Brandon Hughes jumps to the pits. Dan Thornton goes to the pits as well. There is Jake Cranston into turn 9. Mayurek right behind. He's looking close, is Mayurek, actually, which is interesting, but I don't think he's close enough to make a move into that hairpin. This is the hairpin shot. Oh, do you know what might have happened with the drive of the day votes? Just bear with me on that. I'll deal with it in a second. But right now, we need to focus on Jake Cranston, who is going to weave across the line right now. Jake Cranston wins your feature race here at Long Beach. The first street race we've had. And Andre Mayurek takes his first podium of the season. Stephen Burns takes his first podium of the season. Joshua Germany jumped up into P4 there somehow. And I don't know why. Stephen King drops to P5. That's confusing. Time penalty maybe for crossing the threshold. Greg Otley down to P6. Really confusing actually from those as Jake Cranston does some donuts. The only reason Twitch chatters that I can think that won't let you vote is that the results weren't reset from last time. So let's have a quick look at resetting that. Post that link for you now. You might have to refresh your page if you already have it open, but try the drive of the day link now. You should see it. And there is the app again. Jake Cranston, your winner. Good stuff. I want to see that Dan Thornton thing again before we move on. Oh, it might not have been Dan, actually. It looked like it from initial point of view. But actually, it might have been the meatball car of Weiswanger moving over. Oh, it's so hard to call from that point of view. No, wow. The chopper cam shows it best, I think. It just looks like Dan was aiming towards the left of the circuit. I wonder what happened to Joshua Germany at the end and how did he jump everyone? Kyle Ridley, look, swoops round his outside of turn 9. He's going to have the inside for turn 10. And is Josh going to keep it on the inside of the hairpin? Ooh. He does. He did give room. A little bit naughty because it ruined Carl's run, but he gave room and they continue. Yeah, now it works. Thanks, Christoph and YouTube chat. Lots of crashes today. Many men lost so many positions. F in chat. I mean, we expected it, didn't we? Carl Ridley knocking him there. Got really close to the line. In fact, let's have a look at how close that was and have a look at our results for the feature race. We have Jake Cranston then takes the win, 6/10 ahead of Andre Mayurek. Stephen Burns still there. Stephen King, Greg Otley. So it was just the overlay messing up. So Stephen King did get 4th. Greg Otley did get 5th. Henry Morse got 6th in the end. Joshua Germany P7. Carl Ridley P8. What was the gap between those two? It was nearly just over 1/10 of a second. Street Casuals driver Austin Farr in P9. Andy Fox. Austin Farr done well there. I mean, he started at the back in the sprint, so he's had a good day climbing. Fox Corpus in P11. Corpus will be happy. P11 for Lurchus Gaming Team. That is a cracking result. And look at P14 as well. Yeezus and Mundere, well done. Martin Wallace with a P12 will be happy. Donny Henriksen with P13 should be happy. Huffman 15th. Bailiff made it to 16th in the end. It was a bad day for him. Timu Toika 17th after crashing twice in the feature. So that's not bad. Sebastian Holmichael in P18 will be happy with that. Dan Downing, P19, will be disappointed. Depart will be disappointed with his 20th after a strong showing again. Blake got caught up in incidents that weren't his fault again. Manintveld, you got a feel for that man. He's another one. He's similar to Patrick in terms of we know he has pace, but something keeps happening that makes it seem like it's just pace and not skill. Like, you can't, like he got taken out in Seika, which was a little bit clumsy on his part. It was deemed NFA, the racing incident, and it cost him a lot of positions because he was in the top 4 at the time. And then here he was up in that top 10 again. I'm sure he was, and it's just, I mean, he wasn't the only one we saw do it. Just turned into that hairpin wall too early, and he ended up on his roof. And now he's down in 22nd place. Jan Weiswanger 23rd, Hughes, Murray, LeQuay, Thornton, Agard 4 laps down in 28th, Caraday, Burkhard down in 30th, Van der Velde and Sam Van Olst. Why? Hang on a minute. Spent that whole race, didn't clock what happened to Morgan. Do we remember what happened to Morgan? Morgan Burkhard. That's Bailiff and Burkhard who have had an absolute nightmare. So Bailiff will be happy, although still outscored by Burkhard. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find what happened to Morgan. Can't see anything with his name. At any of this point. Morgan Burkhard passed Joshua Germany. He passed Henry Morse. He entered the pit lane. Entered the pits again. He came into the pits. Morgan had an amazing crash, says Capula. Greg the Goat. Does it happen after this pit stop? We'll find out. Is this a drive-through? No, he is stopping. He's going to fill the car up. And it says he enters the pits again on the lap after. I don't know if that's just the game being silly. Oh, here's a crash. By himself? No. Oh. 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 Oh, Patrick. That's frustrating. This is what it looked like on board. We don't often get to see Morgan make mistakes, so we'll make the most of it. Turns in too early, bounces off straight into the wall and around. And Patrick Dupart comes flying around the corner into an invisible car, which is annoying for him as well. So this is what it looked like from Patrick's point of view. Completely blind. Look at, oh, the car's gone. That's frustrating. Definitely frustrating. Anyway, let's do the interviews. We need to talk to the drivers and then go for our week break. Right. Rumour has it, netcoded the wall, says Nick Danger 61. It's a hell of a netcode for Patrick there. Right. Let's see who we're going to speak to. In fact, let's have a look at driver of the day. Gave you enough time to vote. Let's have a look at these results. And then that I cannot argue with today. So we will bring that man into chat. It was an unpopular decision to go against it last time out. But not this time, because he's on his way. He's just walking up the stairs now. Into the podium room he comes. He's not got a podium, but he's had a hell of a race today. Greg Otley, welcome to the comms room. How are you feeling, sir?
I'm exhausted. What a brilliant race!
Well,
A track that we all all thought was going to be an absolute mess, and somehow I've had my best result of the season.
yeah, and that's sometimes the way it goes with races like this. I nearly called it a Mickey Mouse round then, but that's not fair on Long Beach because it is a circuit. The walls are there. Everyone knew the limits. The feature race, the sprint race went so well that I said it before the feature race started. I said that's going to get into people's heads and this is where mistakes are going to happen, and then lo and behold, crashes happened. Well, like you said, season best result. I mean, you popped it up there in qualifying, which probably had well, you tell me, it had a big thing to do with today, or you still had to work for it?
Had to work for it a bit, but yeah, obviously quali helped massively. Probably it's definitely my best quali ever. Usually I really struggle in quali, struggle to get the gap right, and I struggle to just keep being on the pace and getting the laps in, but with the tyres being sort of cold and slidey with the first couple of laps, it's it was just getting quicker and quicker for me, and yeah, it just worked. And then the first race, tried my best to stay out of trouble, which didn't quite go the way I'd expected by the fountain, but obviously made up a couple of positions there and just kept going. Really, it was the feature that was more of a struggle to race, really. Obviously with the pit stop, not quite knowing what to do with the strategy, and seeing Jake coming at me at a rate of knots as well, is like, okay, he's always going to be up there. So yeah, and then to get pipped at the line right at the end as well by Stevie, it's just so unfortunate. I ended up running out of fuel. Literally started coughing and spluttering right at the hairpin.
Oh,
I knew coming out of the hairpin. I knew coming out of the hairpin that it was going to be bad.
Do you know what? I didn't even see that pass, which people are going to get annoyed at me for, so I'm just going to have a look if I can find it. But just going back to your sprint race start, you said about keeping it safe and just sort of getting your head in the game. It looked like you lost a couple of positions at the start, I think 2 or 3.
Oh, my start was awful.
And
I got so much spin.
But how do you keep... We've seen it happen time and time again, and it happens to everyone really, but something like that after a strong quali can affect you mentally in the race, and sort of ruin the rest of it. But you kept your head in there, and you still finished up there and got it in both races. So how long did it take you to get your head back in the game, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Turn 1. Literally, I was like, okay, I've just lost about 3 positions off the start. It was awful. And then yeah, I just kind of reset straight from there. I was like, well, turn 1's going to be a mess. Let's just make sure we make it through. And I was side by side with Stevie, so battling in both races, the two of us, which is new for me. He's usually right up there and I'm a bit further back. But yeah, I was on his outside for turn 1 and just tried to keep it clean and safe through there, and managed to get through okay. And that was it. From there, it was like, okay, this is on still. I've not lost that many. It's still on.
We just saw,
top 10.
Yeah, we just saw Henry Morse was actually right behind you as well when you went out of fuel. So that was you just made it to the line in front of another. Nearly lost another position. But no, great race and driver of the day. It was always going to be you, I think, with this, especially with a result like this. Can't argue with it. 9 votes to a very close, actually, second. I think with 5 or 7. I've forgotten how many it was Patrick Dupart. But 9 votes for yourself and two very strong finishes. So well done. But as usual, Greg, before I let you go, is there anyone that you want to say hello or thank you to?
Yeah, sure. Hello to all my supporters out there. I get quite a few messages during the races, and obviously seeing everything going on stream as well. Thank you to Dan, thank you to Dean and everyone else that has been supporting the series and watching the races. It means a lot. Thanks to my fiance as well, who's supporting from downstairs. Can hear her every now and again cheering me on. So yeah, the support's huge. Thanks to my teammates as well. Yeah, it's been a good season, and I mean, I jokingly said to them just now in the chat that I don't think I've got much more in me, to be honest. But every race has been slightly better. This one was way up there, so I'm super happy. Let's just keep it going.
Good. It's good to speak to you, and we'll speak to you again soon, Greg. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jet.
Great to speak to that man. Let's bring in... I don't think we've brought him up here, actually. This might be his first time in here. He's already changed his name in Discord to One Podium Burns. It's Stephen Burns for Win It or Bin It. How is that, my friend? Does it feel good?
I did not expect it, put it that way, after being so slow in practice.
Does this mean the Halloween livery is going to stay for the rest of the season, or did it? I can't remember the result last week. Does it paid off running the Halloween livery?
It was absolutely appalling result last week. It was about what I expected round Laguna. So, yeah, it must have paid off in this race.
Talk us through this feature, Stephen. So, because so much goes on. That you started on pole, right? You finished 12th.
Yeah.
You started on pole.
Started a pole. Andre got a better start. I didn't want to cause a massive pile up at turn 1, so I didn't really fight him. Followed him till the pit stops, and then basically followed Andre for the rest of the race. So nice and quiet and uneventful.
Quiet, uneventful, but sometimes that's the best race. Like, it depends on the mood people are in, but I'm sure that gets mixed reviews up and down the grid. Some people are really happy with an uneventful race when they get a strong result, because it's not that you didn't have to work for it, because I imagine you had to put in laps to stay with Andre, and you had to stay away from the walls. And some people just like the fight as well, more than they need to. But
in practice, I'd never managed more than 5 laps without hitting the wall. So I think I've just done 24 laps here, and not hit a wall once.
And despite the man in front of you, despite all of the questions and the clarifying of rules, it says he got 2 0x races today. How was your X limit?
I had 0x in the first race, absolutely no idea how, and then I had 8x in the second race, which was both taps at the hairpin from behind. So
well, there you go.
Not a lot. I actually had Andre down to win this with 0x, so I wasn't far off in my prediction.
It wasn't far, but somehow he's done it again, hasn't he? That the Masters of Torque driver. It was the pit stops. I think Andre kept him behind as for a decent amount of time, and then as soon as he gets an overlap,
I think Jake underfueled, and me and Andre took enough to get to the end, just because we wanted the podiums.
That's right. Well, I mean, you've done it. You've both done it. It's another podium for ORD and a podium for Win It or Bin It, so we might close that gap to the top 4 teams. It was unfortunate for John today. Have you spoken to John? How's he feeling after today's race?
Yeah, he's a bit down, and he had no luck in that first race, and I don't think he got much better luck in that second race either.
No, the start of the second race was messy for sure at the back end, and anyone behind that sort of middle point when it all kicks off is at the mercy of all of those accidents, aren't they? So, but on the bright side, I didn't see this on stream until the very end. His closest person, Morgan Burkhardt, ended up crashing by himself as well, ended the feature in 30th. So it's not he's not too bad, unless we're looking at Jake, who obviously finished first and second. But
I'd be more concerned about Jake still winning it despite missing 2 races at this stage.
We've got 1 or 2 rounds that he's going to miss. At this rate, he might not be going on. I reckon he's lied. I don't know if he's going on holiday, you know. I think he's just... Everyone's like, oh, he's going away, we won't race him. And now look at him. He's going to stay. Watch him stay. Stephen, as usual with this, obviously congratulations on your podium. Is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I let you go?
Yeah, well, I'll have to thank Andy and John. It's been great racing in Win It or Bin It this season. I think we've worked really well as a team. So, and as usual, I better thank my wife, who's probably sat there watching this at the moment, thinking, why did she let me disappear on a Monday night and not look after the baby? So,
come on, one night's all right. Don't let anyone say that. It gets me in the bad books with everyone, that will. So
yeah, gets me in the bad books as well.
Yeah, no worries. Well, congratulations again, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate.
Stephen Burns for Win It or Bin It with his first podium there. We've got one other driver in the interview waiting room, but I feel like we should speak to another new podium sitter. And then Jake Cranston is potentially going away for the next round. Maybe we'll do both quickly. Let's do both. Let's just drag Andre up here very quickly after that P2.
Oh, hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine.
You must be happy. Come on.
Yeah, I am. I thought I might win the race, but then just Cranston appeared behind me out of nowhere.
Well, you weren't alone in that thought. I think a few of us thought that you had this one in the bag. You came out in the lead after the pit stops, and then it was all down to sort of can you keep that man behind? Like you said, he crept up, and you did it. You did it for a fair amount of time. It was similar. It was so similar.
I did, yeah.
Similar to last week with Patrick. But tell us how he got you in the end. What was it, a mistake or just got the run?
Well, he was just faster to some of the corners in the middle, and eventually he figured it out and forced me defensive, forced me offline, and I'm not sure if you saw it on stream, but he made it through basically.
Yeah, we saw it on a replay just about, and then talk us through how. I don't know if you were the only one. I would assume you're the only one. You said you got 0x in both races. I can't imagine anyone else has done that.
It should be in the result screen, right?
I can't see it without getting up the...
You should check after the race.
I'll check after the race.
Yeah, I somehow made it with 0x's.
And did you feel like... I mean, that race, you led for most of it. I mean, you took Stephen at the start, which was a great move, and then sort of led most of it. And then... But what about the sprint race? Because you were in the sort of top end mid-pack. So that's where the X's would have been risky. But did you get close to anyone, or was you just kind of putting in the laps and you were in a nice little safe cushion?
Not really. I mean, the start of the race was kind of hairy. I don't really know what happened. I have to watch the replay. I kind of lost a bunch of places, I think. But after that, after lap 1, it was clean.
Oh, fair enough.
I remember I had Steven behind me, and I was slightly faster than him, and I don't know who was in front of me, but basically it was a train and nothing happened.
It's break week next week, and we're going to Twin Ring Motegi after that. How are you feeling for that one?
I mean, I like Motegi, so I'm happy to be there.
Well, that's good to hear. This is good to hear. We like it.
One of my favorites, yeah.
Good. It's the East layout again, which was RLTC.
Yeah,
layout,
I know.
So it'll be interesting to see this car around there. Andre, as usual, is there anyone before I let you go that you want to say hello or thank you to?
No, I guess Dan Thornton, because he's in a really bad mood. And I know we have some supporters in the chat. I know I saw Joe Gibson in there, so hi to him.
He did, yeah. Joe Gibson came to support. It was good to see him, and what a show you guys put on for him. Patrick was up there in the first one. You were up there in the second. So
double podium for ORD.
It is a good day for the team, despite how Dan's races went today, because he was in some good positions as well.
He was, yeah.
But thank you for that, Andre. Hopefully we'll speak to you again soon.
Yep, I hope so.
One last quick word, because I'm pretty sure it's the next one that he might be missing unless he changes his mind. Jake Cranston, championship leader, probably extended again with the first and second today. What is it with you taking away people's first wins in the last few laps? Oh, where's he gone? Has he gone? I just dragged him in. Jake?
Hello, sorry, I don't know what happened there.
You just walked out of the room mid-question.
Sorry.
What did I say? I said first and second today. Another points haul. I can't remember what round you said you're missing, if you are missing a round, or whether you were just lying. Now you're so far in the lead, you've got to commit to it.
No, I'm missing 2.
You are missing 2. Well, you might still be in the lead by the time you come back. Let's see what happens. But it was a strong day, and the second race in a row where you've felt the need to mug an ORD driver in the late phase of the feature for their first win.
Look, it's not in the plan.
It was very much in the plan. You wanted to win both races, and you did. I can't remember if I spoke to you last week, but you had the move on Patrick where it was through the downhill section, which was nice, and I think you backed out of it and ended up settling for P2. And then here, the only edge. I mean, Andre was quick today by the looks of it, but it looked like you had the edge in that final sector towards turn 9 and 10. Is that where you felt like the move had to be done, or do you think it would have came up somewhere else if not?
I wasn't going to push for a move because I didn't really need to. I would have been fine sitting in second, but Andre decided to defend onto the back straight because maybe he thought I was going to dive on him or something, but he defended and obviously then got a bad run down the straight, so I had to go for the move, otherwise I would have been vulnerable from behind. And then we both respected each other, gave each other space. There was a bit of door banging, but it was all right. We both survived. And then I just saw Eric upside down in my mirror.
Yeah. Was that you? Was it you that was near him when that happened? I think he wasn't the only car that did that today, and I'm surprised we saw it so often. In fact, I think you did it in practice. You didn't end up on your roof, but so many people were turning into that hairpin. I mean, you can't really see it, I guess, the inside, but you turn into it so tight that if you drag close enough, you end up on your roof. Jerry Agard ended up on his roof. Eric Manetgard ended up on his roof. I feel like there was another one.
It's the single screen, at least for our guys. With the VRs and triples, you can probably see the wall, but I couldn't see the wall at all.
Yeah, you just got to kind of predict, because you do have to. I guess the line is holding it tight there to get the best round.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't end up on your roof. P2, P1, another strong day, and it's the 2 Japanese rounds that you're missing.
Yes.
Well, let's see how much of your lead gets lost. I mean, you've got to take some comfort in the fact, if any, that John Bailiff and Morgan Burkhardt ended down the order today, so that's helped. I'm not sure what the standings will look like after this, but you're going to come back. You've got to come back in the top 5 still, I reckon, for that final round at Oran Park. What do you reckon?
I'm hoping that's the goal anyway. Well, I'm predicting obviously losing about 100 points per round I missed to the guys below. So, I think I will be about 5th or 6th, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, we'll see. As usual, Jake, before I let you go, is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to?
Hello, Ellen, her parents. Dave, I know, is an avid watcher. Well done for watching every single race without fail. Thank you for the support. Thank you to my mum for watching as well, and then my dad and my grandparents are also watching along. And I also believe my friend and colleague in my Atlanta office is also watching today. So if you're still there, thanks for watching, Jacob. It was a good race to watch.
It was indeed our first street race done and dusted. Do you think there's going to be many more street races, or was it as bad as everyone thought it was going to be?
Well, I enjoyed the challenge, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was different. It was different.
Maybe the opinion will be different further down the field.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Jake. We'll speak to you soon.
Cheers.
There he goes. 2 times Jetta Cup champion and current Season 3 championship leader. Thank you all for watching across the Racing Line YouTube and Twitch, and VCO eSports YouTube and Twitch. It has been a pleasure as always. Let's have a quick catch up on chat. Greg the GOAT, People's Champ. So humble despite his greatness. The whole race pack. 20x by the end of lap 2. F the feature. Yikes. Says Donny on both YouTube and Twitch. True champ, get Steven in there. Well done, that man, says Jerry. Show some respect, Greg's talking. Tweeted. Christoph says, tweeted the 4 screenshots I took. Thanks for the evening, Mr. Johns and drivers. We'll see you again after 2 weeks all the way in Japan. And that is correct. 2 weeks time for the next Jetta Cup, so don't turn up next Monday. We won't be here, but the week after we'll be in Japan for Twin Ring Motegi for round 8 of the Jetta Cup Season 3. As usual, that is pretty much it from me. If I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace!